Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here. This is going to be the men's ladder match 2018. This is probably, hopefully, going to be the main event of the pay-per-view and set the storyline straight on the road to WrestleMania. We've got a jam-packed match full of just about everyone in WWE from Raw and SmackDown. The WWE making the Money in the Bank ladder match exclusive to SmackDown last year, I think, took away a little bit of the fun. We've got just about every main eventer in WWE minus Roman Reigns in here, from Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, The Miz, Finn Balor, Braun Strowman, Rusev, Samoa Joe, and a member of the New Day. Just because there is one member of the New Day, I don't think that is going to narrow out the other two members of the New Day getting involved. Well, I guess we'll start with them because they're the biggest wild card of the match. My hope is that Biggie Langston gets into the mix here. I actually read an article of people talking about Biggie winning the Money in the Bank ladder match and actually getting behind them because of the fact that New Day, they do sell a lot of merch at the WrestleMania Superstore last year. They came out with an exclusive Tag Team Championship belt design for these guys, where I think they only sold a limited amount of the belts. Being able to come out with a Money in the Bank actual suitcase in the New Day attire would be really fun. And of course, because of the New Day rules, just because Biggie Langston won the Money in the Bank ladder match doesn't mean that there could always be a sneak attack of Xavier Woods or Kofi Kingston coming down with the briefcase and being the guy who's able to cash in and then sort of using the Freebird rule as a champion on SmackDown would honestly be pretty fun, not knowing who is going to defend the belt, when and where, not making this just a tag team, a stable, I guess you could say. I think that is the longest reach wild card that is going to be out there, but I think it would be a really fun storyline. Kofi Kingston, more than likely, with his history of the ladder matches as well as the Money in the Bank matches, probably going to be the guy who gets the nod, but would be really fun to see something set up that way. From there, probably the longest outreach would probably be Rusev. He is rebuilding his career. The total Rusev Day chance filling up the SmackDown and Raw arenas. No matter if he's on the show or not, definitely is a showing to WWE that he is the guy that people want to get behind and they want to see how far he can reach in WWE. The whole thing with him and the singing gimmick, Aiden English coming out with him, might not be what gets him to the main event. Maybe a little bit retooling along the way. Definitely him hanging out with Lana more. I definitely think he'll be at the top of the card wrestling guys like John Cena once again. So even though he is a long reach in this match, he is definitely somebody to keep in your back of your mind that could get the victory. Middle of the pack guys would be Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode. I don't give them a lot of credibility to win this match. Bobby Roode, definitely his, good guy, white meat babyface, just I'm gonna smile one for the camera. I think he needs a little bit of the stuff that we saw in TNA and in NXT, just with him just being just total cocky, I guess is the word I'm trying to say, knowing that he's going to be able to go out there and beat just about everybody. I, for one, loved the thing at Backlash with him coming out and just smiling for the camera, doing the conga with No Way Jose. I thought it was fun. Definitely at the end of the day, when that show was like 6 hours long, I wasn't the biggest fan of it anymore. Thinking that could have been something that really fun that went down on Monday Night Raw. But I definitely think until we see him turn into that sort of, I guess you can say, Ric Flair of WWE's Monday Night Raw, I don't see him getting pushed up the card that much. Kevin Owens still needs to rebuild himself from the whole Sami Zayn storyline that went just a little bit too long, honestly, in my mind. The whole thing of him wrestling against Shane McMahon at Hell in the Cell, him headbutting Vince McMahon, that stuff was really fun. But to make that last all the way from SummerSlam until WrestleMania, which led to him getting fired from SmackDown and then showing up on Monday Night Raw and then still doing basically the same storyline, It went a little bit too long, honestly, in my mind, and I think that he needs to rebuild it. This is going to leave us with Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and The Miz. Definitely the 4 favorites in order to do it. Miz, this guy just needs a chance. Look what this guy did over on SmackDown the last 2 years, carrying the Intercontinental Championship. Although he never really wrestled against main event guys unless it was just on television. I know that everybody is itching to see that Miz versus Daniel Bryan match somewhere down the road, but how fun would it be to see Miz with the championship, him being able to beat a guy like AJ Styles or wrestle against a guy like AJ Styles in the main event of television and pay-per-view matches. Miz was a good champion back in 2010. Yeah, he did his part where he held the belt from Survivor Series until WrestleMania 27, and since then has fallen down to the mid-card, but he's never really fallen lower than that place. People that don't like this guy, you don't like him for a reason, because he's playing the character that he's supposed to be. Although that babyface run that he went on when he was managed by Ric Flair doing the figure 4, that was pretty painful to watch around WrestleMania 29. But besides for that, this guy's been money, and he deserves to be rewarded for everything this guy's been doing, from Total Divas, being able to get his own reality show spinoff. This guy does it for a reason, because he is good at what he does. And I know that it would be sort of a repeat, seeing him carrying around that Money in the Bank briefcase, but nobody really complained when a guy like Edge was doing it twice, when a guy like CM Punk was doing it twice. The Miz, I think most people might not even remember 2010, him holding that Money in the Bank briefcase. It would be a lot of fun to see him hitting some crushing finales down on that briefcase. Samoa Joe, he got the big win in order to get the last spot. He got the pose with the briefcase. I think that was really fun. I think that he's going to be the main event guy coming out of Money in the Bank on the SmackDown brand, whether that's facing a guy like AJ Styles or going after Nakamura. He is the guy that sort of paints the middle of the road. He can go babyface, he can go heel. I think it would be a lot of fun. Braun Strowman, he needs to be rewarded for the past year that he's been doing. It didn't matter if he's a heel or a babyface. People love this guy. They liked seeing him tag with Nicholas at WrestleMania. I thought it was a little cocky-eyed stupid, but I think I was one of the only few people who had that opinion. Braun, I don't see him being a guy who's going to win the briefcase and cash it in. If he's going to beat a guy like Brock Lesnar for the championship, he's just going to walk down, challenge that guy, eye to eye. He reminds me a lot of Big John Studd. I think he's got a big future in WWE. I do think that somewhere along the way that they could do something stupid with this guy, and he could turn from a serious wrestler into just sort of a laughing stock in the matter of no time. That just sort of forgets all this push that he had. So I'm hoping that WWE cashes in on him sooner than later. But Finn Balor, to me, definitely is a guy that has sort of been forgotten about in the last 2 years. Yes, he has had feuds that have mattered, but he's never had that championship match. And he's never got that rematch against Seth Rollins or against Kevin Owens since being stripped of the championship after SummerSlam a few years ago. You could tell that, Triple H does have huge plans for this guy. If you go back to Raw 25, he was acknowledged as being one of the guys that Triple H wants to pass the torch to be the bright future of WWE. Last year we thought TLC or maybe around Survivor Series, somewhere he was going to get a championship shot against Brock Lesnar. He's really pushing forward. He knows that he can be the guy that carry the ball in WWE. It's only a matter of, I guess, getting the people there to believe in him, that write the storylines and push him to the top. At one point he had that, and then he got injured. He came back from that injury, pushed to show that he wanted to do this more than anything else. We saw that in the WWE 24 episode. I don't know why it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen sooner than later, and I'm really hoping for it to be at Money in the Bank when he wins it, and for him just to flat out say, him versus Brock anytime, anywhere, whether that's SummerSlam. I'd love to see that match, and even if Roman gets involved and it becomes a 3-way, for Balor to win it and show that he is the future of WWE, I really want to see it sooner than later, and I'm hoping that Money in the Bank is the start of it. This looks like it's going to be a good pay-per-view that might be a little bit long, but it has 3 big matches that I believe can really deliver, that I care about. And this is the start of what's going to be happening for the summer push of WWE. We'll have to see what WWE is going to be, because as of right now, they got those big television deals, but you've also got ratings that are dipping. We're dying for some sort of big storyline to happen, and We got helicopters flying overhead, probably wanting to see what I'm doing out here making these videos on the Stevie Breach channel. So we'll end it on that. Money in the Bank's coming up soon. Brought it outside for the WrestleSin or barbecue. I guess I'm doing it old school like Miz is in 2010 as we're waiting on that chicken to finish. So peace out, everybody. See you guys down the road.